Excuse me. Greetings, beloveds. May the grace, goodwill, and helpful righteousness from the heavenly abundance be upon you and your families, especially those who are in need, but also everyone and anyone. Maybe I missed this. There we go. There is a problem with nonsense. Seemingly so. It may be innocent, may lack malicious intent. It may be fun. It may be creative. It may be spontaneous. But, and I also have experience in the freestyle, the free-flowing, verbal, physical expressions of an energetic being. And the problem with unthought through, nonsensical communication, enjoyment, is that it can be misleading. That is the problem. And while there was no intent, it still can end up causing pain and missing the target of what it was supposed to do. And part of the problem with not being fully thought through is that you may not even know what your target is. Is it a crime to not know what your target is? Is it a crime to hit certain targets? I would like to apologize for misstepping with any verbal or physical communications that I've ever committed such act of. Yes. So I guess that's the end of my talk. But nonsensical acts, unthought through, although, well, with no intention, with the intention of joyous creativity, can trajectory, not with a CH, but with a T, trajectory. They can traject into an unintended target. So I would say that is the issue with lack of knowledge, with lack of experience. Lack of experience is always going to happen. So it's no fault. Lack of experience is of no fault, but there still are consequences. Consequences. It becomes your fault, even though it's not your intention. But as equity and trust law graciously still encompass, the saving grace, even in an official legal lawsuit, because mistake, being sent here, being the age of majority, being competent, means that you know that you have the power and the right to make a choice. You are the grantor of your acts. And that's why everything's voluntary. Unless you're a ward of you're an infant ward, and then you don't know anything, you don't know what you're doing, and then you're under the care of the guardian, and that's the guardian ward relationship. And that's when, and you're either one or the other. And so you become the one when you're not the other. What was I saying? Make a choice. If a mistake, if you didn't know you had the option to make such a choice, then picking the other choice, like, ignorance of the law is no excuse, but ignorance of your ability to choose an option, that's what a mistake is. A mistake, or it's a lack of it's not your intention. Mistake, due to trust law and equity, is binding. It's a valid action, motion, answer in the legal side, because the equity is where the law comes from, and that's where legal comes from. But mistake, so it's thank God, and that thank God that mistakes are a thing. It would be nice if we never made mistakes, but we do. And it's equitable to make a mistake, but continuation of making a mistake, what does that become? It becomes something. It's not your intention, but you're stupid. You're an idiot. You're an adult. You're adult. No offense, but I make the same mistakes often. It's nice to want to be righteous, but it is wise to recognize that when you make the same mistake all the time. And so asking for forgiveness, that might be part of learning that you're making, because you're making it, but our brains just can't figure it out quick enough. So when you get to the point, like, which is very deep and far, this is not just the beginning. I could have figured it out a long time ago. I still haven't figured it out, but asking for forgiveness. And it doesn't, I've tried to rectify with people. I want to get in contact with somebody from years ago that I realize that it was my mistake. A lot of the hurt that I have, it began with my acts. The acts of myself are what created the hurt. And just because they didn't act a certain way, it might seem like they did a little bit more, but it was my act that I set the expectation individually. I set an expectation and acted certain ways. And then I expect that, when you fully move out of the way for somebody on a sidewalk, you expect them to at least try to give you a bit, and then they don't at all. They give you nothing. And you'll be to the limit. I'm on the street, and your shoulder is still bumping me. Zero gave me anything. And then I kind of get a little ruffled, or I'm just I notice it. It's kind of like a sandpaper, and it's zero effort was given, and so my righteous act, my attempting to be good to someone, ends up turning me evil, because it's I'm pissed off. I expect that I gave you so much more than I had to. I could have gave you none. I could have taken the sidewalk, which is my right. But these expectations in our own acts. Just because I gave so much doesn't mean others have to do anything. So that there's no need to be hurt by such things. But and I've been at fault But I mean, that expectation is my fault. But I've also misstepped many times, which is a whole nother thing, which has blame to it. Look at this, I just got this, yeah. So I'm gonna let this one go. I've had this since the Ford, Thunder Bay. But yeah, so there is, as the Bible would indicate, whether it's a drunkard or people that don't think, I can't remember the words for it, but lack of thought kind of puts you at fault. And that's why the guardian relationship is nice, because at least an infant doesn't get treated as badly as like a criminal. Is it? I don't know. The guardian ward relationship is there for our benefit, even though it doesn't feel like it. Like a baby on a leash, it doesn't feel good because we want to go. But and this is maturing. Not everything's an act where you have to be funny or joking, and on the line of insulting in order to get a little bit of a high out of the audience. And the audience may be a singular fellow that you perhaps enjoy. And so you insult them a little bit, maybe, with your unthought out giving of communication. And so it is your fault. But forgiveness and mistake, you might not think you deserve forgiveness, and maybe that's why we don't seek it quick enough. But even though we know we're doing it, we know we're doing it, and we want to try it again, and like maybe the first step to actually correcting something is the asking for forgiveness part. We might think that we need to correct our actions first, but seek forgiveness, and that'll help your body, mind, that'll help your system, the unit of whatever we are, solidified into one, our system unit, physical, spiritual, emotional. I'm learning things. I think I am. That might get the code into our system where we realize, like, what have I asked for forgiveness from? And why am I asking for forgiveness? Because it was my act. I did this. I chose to do this. Even though I didn't think about it, I still chose to do it. And I chose. And what was it? And those will become more clear when you're asking for forgiveness, because you'll feel bad. You'll get feedback from others when you've overstepped or kind of rubbed somebody the wrong way or hurt somebody. Bananas, carrots, and organic hot chocolate. So we'll feel the bad, but yeah, we don't deserve forgiveness because we did, but yeah, we do deserve. Forgiveness is in abundance. Like, that bad feeling means that that's not something you want to do. Your intention was not met. Therefore, it was a mistake. And that bad feeling, even though we dwell in it, even though we condemn ourselves, perhaps that's hell, perhaps that's Satan, a little seasoning of hell or Satan, not the full dose, but it's self-inflicted from the heavenly spiritualness that our brains contain or are bestowed down from. And that's how you know. So, and yeah, you ask for forgiveness. You do deserve it. And by doing the asking of forgiveness and the consideration of the act, that act will shed light into your world, into your singular world, and all of a sudden Your metaphorical weather will begin to change. Not because you deserved it, not because you did not mean to, but because that you're trying to do something different. I'd be okay if it snowed. I do enjoy many things. If I wasn't so upset about people, but being from Ontario, it's September, but I'm not in Ontario. But if it snowed right now, I'd be okay with it. Something you can't do in Powell River is shovel snow. But yes, I sincerely apologize for my missteps. The people that I've hurt are the people I wanted to love. Right? So, sincerely, and that regret is part of the pain. We could just call it all pain, and that's how we know it was a mistake. God bless us. Thank you for our forgiveness, and we sincerely, and you don't need to go physically tell the person. You can, depending on the situation, but I just realized that I think I'm starting to like write out things that I wish I could say, but just for my private note, my own, even writing out, not a full apology, but maybe just a sentence, like the recognition of asking for forgiveness, my declaration of apology, like, or remedy, my attempt of, I apologize for please forgive me for my misstep. And you could write it down. And even though you're not giving it directly to the people, because you don't want to keep poking the bear or adding more wood to a fire or chipping the broken window or any analogy you could make up. You don't want to keep stepping in the wet paint. You want that person that they want their space, perhaps, or just. But what you can do is it's actually a note, it's a promise. That document that you've now created, that intention, that thought, it becomes real. It's on a piece of paper or it's in your phone. It's like it exists, and you can almost feel. It feels like they might see it. The fact that I've created it. It's in a. Oh, I can see myself in the mirror. Nice. Oh, my mirror's even pink too. That's just kind of funny. But can we do this? But that physical reality, I believe, will help with whatever it is, with the stabilization of your feeling. Feeling is everything. Your body and your mind and your soul, but your emotions. There's only three, but I think your body is the emotions, maybe, but your emotions come from your mind, but your mind is not your spirit. So they say there's only three, but these new acts, the manifestation of what you would want to do, becomes real. And I believe it'll help us stabilize. And of course, reading the good book. The girl, mankind. The race. That's what we're saying. The words are so good. It's not about anything else other than just like it. It's like the manifest. It's like that same thing that the reading manifests into your body, mind, soul, emotions, and it's the same thing. It's like asking for forgiveness. It's like smoothing out the chocolate on the cake as it spins on that thing, and it just makes it nice and good and takes away. It planes off the rough edges. It takes any analogy you want, but manifest your forgiveness by your act of acceptance, of acknowledging the responsibility to your unintended target. And you can do that in your own private notes. And then you can sit peacefully, and it's that feeling, like returning the loving heart feeling. And that's what's going to get you to where you want to go. And that's why it starts to go bad, because your navigation is the feeling, and you get that dark guilt, anger, regret cloud that starts to lead you like on the shoulder, and then pretty soon you're in the ditch. Yeah, and this is a good little method to kind of just help you a little bit, to help us. For myself, I'm not even just, this is what I'm going to do. And then you sit, and as if they had read it, or, and accepted it, and they understand that, they already understand. You can come back up onto the path, the righteous narrow path leading to heaven, based upon God's grace. It's the highway, he says. In the wilderness I will already have a highway created for you, says the Lord. Check it. Go to BibleGateway.com and just type highway in the wilderness into the search bar, and it'll bring you to the verse. And then you can feel that love that you want. That's what we really want. That's what we need. Coming back to that love feeling. And that love feeling is the path. I am the path. I am the way. And everything will start changing. You're on a new path now. Feelings, but feelings through our act. They're all connected. If you have a physical illness, you probably have a mental. You probably have a spiritual irritation. And so no matter whichever one, each of us, some of us like to work out, some of us like to meditate, others of us like to feel, and we just get stuck feeling bad. But whichever one of the three that you like to start with, something in my pocket, I'll show you. Okay, there it is. I was like, it's not I don't carry things. I don't carry these things around, but it felt like it. I didn't want to show you, but I knew it wasn't. Start with whichever one of the three. Start with whichever one of the three that you identify with, and center yourself back into that heart love, like someone was coming to hug you. Someone is the one that you want is walking up to come hug you, and you can't see them yet, but they are. And that feeling that you get, that's the feeling we're going to dwell in, because we know it wasn't our intention to hurt others. We were simply seeking love, and that is the truth. And that's why it's a mistake, and that's why we will have forgiveness. God bless you all. Mayest you be abundant and healthy and at ease and joyous and helpful and all of the good heavenly things. Thank you to our leader, Jesus Christ, for showing us that path, doing it first. The wilderness can be a misguiding place. Peace be to you, delicate and tender, beautiful souls.